And hello, race fans, and welcome to the fifth race of the season for the 2026 WRLA Hoosier Summer Tour. It is the penultimate race out of our 6-race schedule. My goodness gracious, this is getting really interesting. After tonight, we will have one race to go, and that will be next week at the Cajon Speedway, the home to Russell Blaze. And my goodness gracious, that's definitely going to be a very interesting night, to say the least. You know, obviously championship weekend for the inaugural season of the WRLA Hoosier Summer Tour. But man, I don't even know where else to really begin. But you know, we've had ourselves a very fantastic season. We've had 4 different winners and a lot of chaos, especially as we went into the second half of the season last week. For those that missed it, we were at the Anderson Speedway for our 4th race, for our 4th outing of the 2026 season just a week and a half ago, that saw Wyatt Walker basically dominate the entire event and will go on to capture his first win of the season, and first one, obviously, of the WRLA Hoosier Summer Tour, as has several of our other contenders, as well as our other 3, ranging from Moscow to Max Anderson, and even Carson Miller, who won a shortened race just a couple of weeks ago, just about a month ago, rather, at Galesburg Speedway for 4th of July weekend. It has been, like I said, it's just been a very fantastic season, and we are closing in on bringing down the curtain to our first ever season of the WRLA Hoosier Summer Tour. And as we take a look at our point standings after Wyatt Walker's win at Anderson, it put him in the championship conversation. Max Anderson still leads the points, though, but just by 2 ahead of Wyatt Walker. Carson Miller, our Galesburg winner, comes in 3rd with 75 points. Wyatt Walker's father, Terry, with 69 points. Very nice. Celebrity driver BB Haynes completes your top 5 with 64. Then our Kalamazoo Speedway winner of Moscow with 62, Travis Crampton with 59, Bryce Egan with 50, then 43 for Claire Phillips, and then completing your top 10, that's Tyler Ferris with 36 points. Then we have our highest running Xfinity Series driver in the point standings, that being Ryan Kendall with 34, Sarah Taylor with 32. Emmanuel Hartnett with 30, then Russell Blaze with 25, Eric Blaze with 24, 23 for Alexander Rowe, 21 for Joshua Neely. He had a great run last week at Anderson Speedway, followed by Kenny Stremme with 20 points, also another driver that needed a good run. Then you have Eli Bright with 18, Bruno Giacomo with 13, Ajax Fitzgerald and Nathan Stapleton. They both round out the field with 6 points to their bank account. And, you know, things are definitely going to get pretty dicey here at the Anderson Speedway as we get set to get on down to action here. Well, I mean, it's like I said, this is definitely going to be one wild event for our 5th race of the season. And for all we know, it could definitely throw a huge monkey wrench into things. Let's go ahead and take a look at your starting lineup. Speaking of our championship contenders, Max Anderson starts on the pole. He'll lead the field to the green flag alongside Wyatt Walker, our winner from a week and a half ago. And then you have Travis Crampton and Bryce Egan. They make up the 2nd row. Ajax Fitzgerald and Tyler Ferris in row 3. Ryan Kendall and Terry Walker make up your 4th row, followed by Carson Miller and Nathan Stapleton in row number 5. Then you have Joshua Neely, Sarah Taylor, BB Haynes, Kenny Stremme, Val Moscow, Emmanuel Hartnett, Claire Phillips, Russell Blaze, Eli Bright, Alexander Rowe, Bruno Giacomo, and Eric Blaze. That is your 22-car starting lineup for tonight's 5th race of the season here for the WRLA Hoosier Summer Tour. We have had 4 amazing races. We're getting ready to have our 5th one here tonight, and it is our penultimate race of the season. This will decide what the championship picture will be heading into Cajon Speedway next weekend. It's going to be a fun one. The drivers are strapped into their cars. Pre-race ceremonies are just now starting to wrap up. It's time to go racing here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Let's go trackside to get the command to fire the engines.
Drivers, start your engines.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Engines are fired. Pace car is rolling off, and so are our 22 competitors. This will be the race that shapes the championship picture, that sets us up in going into Cajon Speedway all the way out on the West Coast in California. And we're going to waste no time here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. This is a very classic track at that. The pace car pulls off, and Max Anderson and Wyatt Walker, the top two in the championship, are going to lead the field of the green flag to get the party started here in Stafford. A good start for our front three. Wyatt Walker getting a little bit sideways there as they head in through turns 3 and 4 for the first time. And we're having ourselves a little bit of an issue with the ticker. Meanwhile, look back here. 4 wide and around goes Stapleton in front of the field. And that is not good for Nathan Stapleton. No caution whatsoever. We stay green. We might have to make a couple changes here to this ticker here, ladies and gentlemen, because this is definitely not something that I probably would have personally expected. So, man, this is kind of tough, but I think we might just, you know what? I think we just might have to go with the original ticker for this one. Just simply because so that way we know where everybody's at. Unfortunately, do apologize for that little pause there, but we're gonna go with the original ticker for this one on the right hand side of your screen. So as you see there, Max Anderson leads the way. Teammate Bryce Egan in the second position, followed by Wyatt Walker sitting in third. Then you have Terry Walker fourth. Everybody getting a little bit strung out, a little single file. But they got pretty racing in the early goings of the event, and they still are 3 wide here. With leaders also coming up, all of them coming up on Val Moscow, who is definitely slow. Was slow on the front straightaway, but they managed to get that sorted out. But my goodness gracious, under caution for the first time here tonight. Falls on lap number 8 with 7 laps complete here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. And again, do want to apologize for a lot of the technical issues that we're currently dealing with, not just from the ticker, but also I also feel like the YouTube stream kind of fell back just a little bit, or at least was buffering a little bit. I just kind of had that up on my watch page, but as long as we're still clean and green in those areas, then I think we should be good. But basically, if you for those that are tuning in, we don't have the ticker up for this week, and the reason being is that we're having ourselves a little problem with the ticker. Is all the drivers that are currently on track, they're being listed as unknown, and there are just question marks basically on the screen. Even though we do have Hoosier Summer Tour listed as the profile for the ticker. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. We might have to do a little bit more of a deep dive when we go into Cajon Speedway next weekend for our championship race of the WRLA Hoosier Summer Tour. Under caution for the first time. We will review the footage after the race. But it involved Val Moscow, who was seen sideways on the front straightaway, and we might have a little bit more to the story as one car smoking, and that is Travis Crampton. Crampton smoking on the front straightaway. Something must have gone awry on the JBL machine. He is definitely going to be out of contention here tonight. That is a tough break for Travis Crampton, who is running just outside of the top 10 in the 12th position. He'll pull that car down into the pit lane here eventually. But that is a tough break there. But looks like Giacomo, as we were getting ready to mention, he has a lot more damage to that number 77 than what we would have anticipated. Must have gotten into the back of the one of Al Moscow on that cool down lap. We'll also have to take a look at what happened to Nathan Stapleton, as I'm pretty sure he must have, obviously he did get turned on the front stretch, but it didn't cause a caution though. So that's definitely a pretty interesting deal right there, as Crampton does exit the race with a gearbox issue here on lap number 12, getting ready to restart this thing with, on lap 13 this time around, Carson Miller lines up on the inside. He is one lap down in car number 71. And now you have Bryce Egan and Max Anderson, their teammates in the Menards Truck Series. Get ready to bring the field down to the green flag, and they do. Anderson gets a great jump on the restart. Good restart for our points leader, and Terry Walker in the 20s looking pretty racy. He goes to the inside of his own side of Wyatt Walker, almost put him into the outside wall in the process. Heading through turns 3 and 4, BB Hange, he has to get out of the gas, still 3 wide, with Kenny Stremme on the bottom and Carson Miller in the middle. Alexander Rowe now down to the inside. Hartnett and Hange getting together as they came off of 2, 7 and 99. Now Emmanuel Hartnett trying to get by his own teammate. But Walker fell from 3rd down to 6th on that restart, and looks like he might lose 1 or 2 more positions here as Eric Blaze and Emmanuel Hartnett squeak on by. Probably might lose 1 more as there's BB Hange in the mix in car number 99. But the front row motorsports trucks, or cars rather, they are truck series drivers, but these are not trucks. These are late models. But these 2 cars, though, in particular, have pulled away with Anderson and Egan kind of fending for the lead for themselves. Down to the inside comes Bryce Egan in the 34. He had a peek down on the inside at the right front right front fender on the inside of the first phase card machine. Here he goes again, heading through turns 3 and 4. They're going to be dead even coming down the front straightaway. And they were just on the exit of turn number 4, but the 34 of Bryce Egan got a good run heading down the front stretch, carries that momentum through 1 and 2, and he clears the 38 of Max Anderson. New race leader, it's Bryce Egan in the 34. Kenny Stremme now moves up into the 3rd position, followed by Terry Walker sitting in 4th. Eric Blaze rounding out your top 5 in the 33. Wyatt Walker, a little bit of 619 action if you are a WWE fan. You got Rey Mysterio numbers going on here in the 6th position in car number 19. Hange in 7th. And Emmanuel Hartnett gets kicked back to 9th after Alexander Rowe kicked him out of that 8th position, and Joshua Neely completes your top 10. And one thing to note about Joshua Neely is that he made his 2nd NOS Energy Cup Series start just this last weekend, and actually almost won the Brickyard 400 at Indy, but unfortunately got passed for the lead by Eric Monaco, who went on to get his 2nd victory of the season. But Neely went on to take home a top 10 finish. I think he wound up finishing 3rd in the event. So Neely, who finished 3rd, definitely has cemented that he's got a future in the NOS Energy Cup Series next year, after Russell Blaze dropped the bombshell of news pieces of Neely is going to get moved up to the Cup Series in 2027. He'll remain in the 26 for the rest of this year, as Eric Blaze will be focusing on the Xfinity Series Championship. But Neely will definitely get a good amount of seat time in the Cup car for the remainder of this year, as well as move into that 26 heading into the next season. And Eric Blaze, if you thought we were done talking about him, he'll also be moving up to Cup, replacing Kyle Craven, who will be, unfortunately, well, no other way to say this, but demoted to the Xfinity Series, and he'll be taking over what is currently Joshua Neely's ride next year. But here comes Blaze to the inside of Terry Walker. That's for the third position. It's a 3-horse fight for third. Well, the 2 front row motorsports cars, they have pretty much checked out from these 3 machines that are currently battling it out for the third position. Blaze has it. Managed to grab that spot heading out of turn number 2. And now here comes Kenny Stremme down to the inside. Who wants that position? On Terry Walker. So Walker might have to give this spot up. Coming off of turn number 4. Meanwhile, up front, lead change. Max Anderson back to the inside of Bryce Egan. And he goes back to the point. That's our points leader of Max Anderson. And the number 38, who has now caught the tail end of the field. That's Val Mosco and the beaten and battered number 1 machine. He was last year's runner-up, if I'm not mistaken, in the Brickyard 400 last year when Emily Anderson went on to take the victory. And now he's going to move up high, and he'll let race leader Max Anderson go. So that will put Val Mosco 1 lap down. The next car just up ahead is Nathan Stapleton, who has just had himself a very abysmal year, a very abysmal first season here in the Hoosier Summer Tour. And also going a lap down will be the 77 of Bruno Diacomo. So they come off of turn 2. The 2 leaders have managed to put a gap of a little over 1 second on third place, Eric Blaze. Meanwhile, over here, well, Val Mosco just trying to do everything he can to stay out of the way. But you got Hartnett and Hange and Wyatt Walker all in the mix. They're just trying to do what they can to get by and get around all this lap traffic. And oh boy, Emmanuel Hartnett must have had a little bit of a Code Brown moment as Stapleton and Diacomo had a little bit of contact on the front straightaway. That almost sent Diacomo around and almost into the infield grass. But good news, we still stay green. Oh boy. Diacomo almost had another moment as Alexander Rowe works him up the hill. And Rowe's going to get by both cars. I believe Nathan Stapleton might have just hit the wall coming off of turn number 2 because he was well off the pace. In the 97, he does have more damage to the passenger side of his car. So our winner from Canadian Tire Motorsports Park this year, Nathan Stapleton. Oh, a little bit more debris got shed on the back straightaway. Probably from the more contact that we just saw, but our winner from Mosport just a couple of weeks ago, not having himself a good year here in the Hoosier Summer Tour. Bryce Egan goes back to the point. Of course, we missed the fight for the lead. But also, here comes Egan underneath of Russell Blaze to put him 1 lap down in the number 3 machine. Claire Phillips is next on that list. As Egan works his way to the inside of the 41 to put her 1 lap down. Now Ferris and also, oh, a little bit of contact there between Egan and Ferris. So Egan's going to get by Carson Miller. And then there's a little bit of clear racetrack. So now there are 10 cars left on the lead lap. Of course, the next car up ahead is Joshua Neely, who of course is running in the 10th position. Oh man, that is actually quite impressive. Oh, 3 wide over here. As Eric Blaze getting a little racy. Trying to work his way down to the inside of Kenny Stremme. This is for the 3rd position. He's going to get that. Wyatt Walker now moves. Well, he's in 5th right now. He might try to see if he can make some move on the number 16 of Kenny Stremme for the 4th position here. The leaders have now caught up to Joshua Neely, and they're getting ready to put him 1 lap down. So our podium finisher from the Brickyard is 1 lap down. Those that are just now tuning in, we've only had 1 caution so far here in this event, and the Front Row Motorsports drivers of Bryce Egan and Max Anderson, they have taken turns leading this thing. And the first caution did involve Val Mosco, who spun down the front straightaway. Travis Crampton is the only retiree in this race with a gearbox problem. That happened during the caution period. And Crampton was running in 12th at the time when it all happened. But your championship leader here in the Hoosier Summer Tour, that being Max Anderson, currently running in 2nd. The driver 2 points back from him is our Anderson Speedway winner. Caution on the Speedway again. And I believe there must have been a spin on the back straightaway. Because there's some skid marks back there. It might have involved the 77 of Bruno Diacomo. But this is our 2nd caution of the night. It flies on lap 46. And here come the drivers. Looks like they might be getting ready to get service done to their cars. Maybe check the tire pressures. Maybe see if the tires do need a little bit of replacing. This is actually quite interesting. I don't think I've seen this. Oh, a little bit. Oh, no. Oh, my. Well, that's unfortunate there for Russell Blaze. Just as Blaze was trying to enter his pit, Giacomo was trying to leave, and Russell. That's not how you get in your pit stall, buddy. Oh, and he's gonna get moved out of the pit by Eli Bright. He's gonna get moved out of pit lane by Eli Bright. So I'm pretty sure Russell Blaze might. Yep, he's gonna come back down pit road, and this time get the service done. But I'm fairly certain I had the pit stop frequency set to ×1. So that way this would be a little bit more of a short track race, but it does appear to be that way. Obviously, with the amount of damage that we're seeing on the cars, you know, with the passenger sides a little bit beat up, and then of course the front end damage to Bruno Diacomo's car. You'd have to imagine that he can't see anything. Obviously, with that hood as crunched up as it is, almost impeding on the vision of the number 77. But Diacomo is currently at risk of going down 2 laps. He is on the tail end of 1 lap down, getting ready to, unfortunately, be lapped for a 2nd time. But as we get ready to go here for the restart for our 5th race of the season here for the WRLA Hoosier Summer Tour, it is Bryce Egan who leads the way, Max Anderson in 2nd, Kenny Stremme in 3rd, Wyatt Walker in 4th. Following in the 5th position is Eric Blaze. In 6th is the 99 of BB Haynes. Terry Walker's in 7th. Emmanuel Hartnett is 8th. Then in 9th is the 43 of Alexander Rowe. He's the last car in the lead lap. Joshua Neely, first car 1 lap down, completes your top 10. Here we go for the restart, and we are essentially back to double file formation with a couple more cars on the inside line. Here we go. Green goes back in the air on lap number 50, or lap 51. 100 laps to go in our 5th race of the season. Diacomo Ooh, he's not up to par with everybody else as he's now starting to get shuffled out high, low. He now moves up the racetrack. They're 4 wide over here, just trying to get by that number 77. That could have been extremely catastrophic for several of these other contenders. And there they go down the back straightaway. Oh boy. Miller and Bright took some hellacious hits into one another. Ryan Kendall spun down to the inside. Caution waves for a third time here tonight. And Eli Bright, oh, that's such a shame. That 24 is junk. Well, we definitely are going to have a lot of replays to show you here at the end of the race here, folks. As Bright, unfortunately, his night will be coming to an end. He'll join Travis Crampton in the pit area, or at least outside of the track. But, man, that is just absolutely unfortunate. Third caution of the night is out for those that are just now tuning in. And if you're wanting to see the replays, stick around. You'll be able to see them at the end of the race here tonight. And the only reason why we're doing this is because, well, the last time that we tried to do it at the season opener at the Kalamazoo Speedway, we ran into that problem where we rewind to review the footage. And then about 30-ish seconds later, the game would full on crash. So we're gonna just kind of mind our own P's and Q's and just take that into consideration, and we'll show you the replays after the race is officially complete. But the caution is out for the third time here tonight. We had a spin on the back straightaway that was a multi-car crash. It turned into a multi-car crash on the back straightaway. First car that we saw go around was Carson Miller here in this number 71. Ryan Kendall spun down through the infield grass on the back straightaway. Other drivers such as Eli Bright and Val Musco were collected in that fiasco. Unfortunately, Bright got the worst end of the damage, and he is now retired from the race after 54 laps, I do want to say. We're now down to 90. We're going to probably restart with 93 to go. But that is just absolutely unfortunate timing there. Well, just unfortunate altogether for some of the drivers that were a lap down or more, especially when you factor in that Bruno Giacomo, his car is probably a little bit more off the pace compared to the other cars that, you know, even though they do have a little bit of cosmetic damage, they still are able to run up, or at least run with the leaders, especially for those that are a lap down or more. The only other reason that the 77 is off the pace, obviously, is because there could be a mechanical issue for this car after just running into the back of somebody during the cool down lap. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what this restart will look like. Pace car is off. Bryce Egan going to lead him back to green here with 57 complete, 94 or 93 laps to go. And the front row motorsports cars, they definitely get a good jump on that restart. They're 3 wide here with Wyatt Walker in the middle, Joshua Neely on the bottom side, Kenny Stremme trying to make something happen down on up there on the outside, and the number 16. And they're getting a little sideways there as they head through the corners on the right-hand side of your screen. Fitzgerald getting a little sideways in the red number 88. Wyatt Walker looking to try to go back-to-back. He's to the inside of the 34 for second as Max Anderson has checked out with the lead. Terry Walker currently shown in 7th. He's trying to make his way up through the field as he tries to get by the number 2 of Tyler Ferris around the outside groove. And BB Hange moves up to 4th, or 5th rather. And up and by Eric Blaze. Wyatt Walker takes over the runner-up spot. Kenny Stremme moves to third. 90 laps to go. Make that 89 as Anderson crosses the stripe. Wyatt Walker, and caution is out for the fourth time. And his first spin on the front straightaway with Nathan Stapleton, who has gone around. Anderson brings them back to the caution flag. And Bryce Egan and also Kenny Stremme kind of rub doors on the front stretch. But my goodness gracious. Fourth caution flies here on lap number 63. 88 laps to go. Getting a little bit more racing in. But man, this is actually pretty interesting as our top two in the championship are back together again. First and second. But fairly interesting that we're seeing this here, because another thing I was getting ready to point out is that Wyatt Walker, so far, is, as far as I'm concerned, you know, and I more than likely could be wrong, but this is the only thing I've noticed, is that Wyatt Walker has finished in the top 10 in every single race thus far in the Hoosier Summer Tour. He finished 10th at Kalamazoo, 9th at Galesburg, and then 8th at Dells Raceway Park. And then we came back after a 1 week break. And then he won at Nashville, or not Nashville, excuse me. He won at Anderson Speedway just a week and a half ago. That catapulted him into the championship conversation. What has been an absolutely just... what has been a season to forget here for Wyatt Walker in the NOS Energy Cup Series is definitely going to be one to remember here in the Hoosier Summer Tour. Say if he were to win the championship here for the inaugural season, there's definitely, it's definitely going to be a very, very interesting championship race when we go to Cajon Speedway in 1 week from now. I am actually very excited to see how this will all come to head. What the championship picture will look like as we head into our final race of the season next week at Cajon Speedway. Green flag will be flying next weekend, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. And for a driver like Russell Blaze as well, you definitely, that definitely brought a tear to his eye when he heard that Cajon Speedway would be the championship race. But he was just so happy to see this track on the schedule, and you'll hear his thoughts about it in our pre-race next weekend right here on YouTube. But we're getting ready to go back under the green flag. Max Anderson leads the way. Tyler Ferris on the inside. Green flag goes back in the air, and Max Anderson, another great jump on that restart. And he'll cut down to the inside. Wyatt Walker also got a similar restart. He'll follow, and oh, Bryce Egan almost getting turned on the back straightaway in front of the field. Manages to keep the car straight, and we stay green, and these drivers are going way wide. They're 4 wide on the front stretch, beating and banging off of one another. And that could have been absolutely disastrous. Change to the inside of Tyler Ferris. Ajax Fitzgerald in a little bit of a scuffle there with Eric Blaze as they come off the corner. A little bit more 3 wide here is Terry Walker trying to get by Sarah Taylor, and then now Alexander Rowe in the 43, but Rowe with the advantage down on the inside line. Making sure that everybody is so far in the green, and we are, at least for now, 4 laps away, or now 5 actually, It'll be 4 this time around. To the halfway point of our 5th race of the season, our second to last race of the Hoosier Summer Tour. Neely goes way wide here. Almost bounces off the wall coming off of turn number 4. Wyatt Walker looking to try to go back-to-back here in the Hoosier Summer Tour. He is staying right with the championship leader of Max Anderson, who is also in command of this race. Started on the pole, and probably more than likely is going to get those 5 bonus points for leading the most laps. Wyatt Walker, he started in second, and he has worked his way right back to this point. Kenny Stremme still in third. Bryce Egan in fourth. BB Hange in fifth. These drivers are getting a little bit more strung out. A lot of action. It's actually kind of calmed down a little bit as we are now going to be halfway this time by. 75 down, 75 to go here at Stafford. To the inside of Egan goes BB Hange in the 99. Remember, BB Hange came into this season as the celebrity driver, and he so far has definitely thrown a monkey wrench in the top 10 in the point standings, especially moving inside of the top 5 in the points. And here's another monkey wrench that we're seeing. Wyatt Walker to the inside of Max Anderson to take the lead. With now 73 laps to go. Walker trying to go back-to-back here in the Hoosier Summer Tour, but Max Anderson, not if he's going to have anything to say about it. He's going to stay right on the back bumper of that Bass Pro Shops late model. He'll try to move him up the racetrack heading through turn number 4, but he stays glued to the back of the 19. Now he moves him up the hill. Here he comes to the inside. Max Anderson. He's got the lane. But Walker looking to slam the door. So far, he has gotten mission accomplished there. But Max Anderson now has a nose to the inside. Not anymore, as now Walker again closes the door. Max Anderson has come so close several times. And now he might have an opportunity as Walker runs up the racetrack. Now Max Anderson beats him back to the gas. He gets to the left rear quarter panel. They're dead even going through 1 and 2. Edges ahead off of turn number 2 and now clears Wyatt Walker for the top position. Max Anderson goes back to the point with 69 laps of racing to go here at Stafford. There's also pulling Kenny Stremme into the mix along with Bryce Egan and BB Hange. So this would make it a 5-horse fight for the lead. And Wyatt Walker looking to try to do the same thing that Anderson did to him just a couple of laps ago. Draws even heading into corner entry of turn 1. And Anderson runs wide off of turn number 2. That gives Wyatt Walker the top spot back. With now 67 laps to go. Another car that they're pulling up to, that would be the number 71 of Carson Miller. See if they're going to be able to get by him without a problem. Let's hope to dear God that they do. BB Hange again trying to go after Bryce Egan for that 4th position. But all eyes are up here at the front of the field, looking to try to see if they can get by Miller without a problem. Ooh, but Carson Miller holding up the leader. Now he moves up and out of the way. Next car that they got to deal with is Bruno Giacomo in the 77. Meanwhile, up front, oh, Russell Blaze hits the wall. I'm not sure exactly what might have happened up here, but that's definitely going to be pretty interesting. I would have to believe that Moscow and Eric Blaze, Russell Blaze rather, might have had a little bit of an issue, but also I think that car itself has got an issue for Blaze in the 3, as he got a little bit sideways coming off of turn number 2. But Walker now with a quarter of a second advantage. They come up on Val Moscow. They're going to get by him without a problem. Now next car they come up to is Nathan Stapleton in the 97. More 3 wide back here. Oh boy! Giacomo scraped the wall and almost right-reared BB Hange as they came off the corner. And Hange and Bryce Egan and Val Moscow made some significant contact on the front straightaway. But Moscow wound up into the outside wall off of turn number 2, but everybody keeps it straight with no problems whatsoever. We stay green. Walker moves Sarah Taylor up the racetrack. Moves her up out of the way, into the wall, and right in front of third place, Kenny Stremme. Eric Blaze caught up. Egan, Hartnett. Nathan Stapleton involved in that one, and that causes a pile up on the front straightaway. Oh my goodness gracious. That was not pretty, as Wyatt Walker leads them back to the caution. Our 5th one here tonight. That was absolutely unfortunate there. Sarah Taylor got moved up the racetrack. Oh, and more contact here as everybody stacked up. Because remember, they got to wait for Sarah Taylor to go by, and as they do for Kenny Stremme. But that was just absolute calamity as the front 2 are on pit road now. But that is just absolute calamity of what we just saw there with Sarah Taylor. She got moved up the racetrack by Wyatt Walker, because remember, Walker was trying to put the 29 another lap down. And from there, I don't think Sarah Taylor was able to recover her race car, and she just absolutely pounded the wall and just came down into the path of Kenny Stremme, and that's what set off that huge pileup on the front straightaway that about nearly blocked the racetrack. But Walker definitely being aggressive here at Stafford Motor Speedway, and I partially don't blame him for that, because he technically has to, because everybody else around him has also been pretty aggressive, especially Max Anderson, who has been all over the back bumper of this 19 a couple of times here tonight, and has moved him up the racetrack to get by for that top position. So Wyatt also having to do the exact same thing and stay on top of the driving. And when you're on older tires like Sarah Taylor, I mean, everybody's tires were starting to get a little bit worn, but Sarah Taylor definitely, unfortunately, must have been driving through turns 3 and 4 with a little bit too much speed. Unfortunately, she had too much momentum going into the corner, and when she got bumped up the racetrack, she just was not able to recover. She absolutely just decimated that turn 4 wall, and also absolutely clobbered her. Well, she clobbered the turn 4 wall, but also decimated the passenger side of her Mobil 1 machine, as we're getting ready to see that as they come down the front straightaway. Just look at that number. Just look at the right side of that car, just all mangled up. Also, the rear end of the car just completely smashed in. But it's amazing to see that Sarah Taylor is still running on the racetrack. 1 lap to go, and we'll be back to green flag racing with 54 laps to go. Wyatt Walker comes into this race the runner-up in the points standings. 2 points back from the driver restarting behind him, Max Anderson, who is the championship leader coming into this thing. Here we go again. Green flag back in the air. 54 laps to go. 2 more drivers did add their names to the list of retirees, that being Emmanuel Hartnett and Nathan Stapleton. But Max Anderson immediately gunning it to the inside of Wyatt Walker to take over that race lead, and he'll get it coming off of turn number 4. Let's watch over here as everybody's just double file heading into the first corner. Gonna be 3 wide here. Ferris on the high side. Eric Blaze getting by without a problem. But also you got the 16 of Kenny Stremme, who was right in the middle of that mess. And then you got Terry Walker, who's currently sitting in the 6th position, now going after Kenny Stremme for the top 5, and now 4th with Eric Blaze in tow. So Terry Walker on the move as he moves up into the 4th position. Oh, 1 car on pit road, and that is the 34 of Bryce Egan. That is unfortunate. He's had himself a great run here tonight, and sadly he just goes into the pit road area. Must have some sort of mechanical issue. But up front, a new player has entered the chat, and his name is BB Hange. He got by the 99, he got by the 38 rather, for second, and now gets 2 birds with 1 stone for the top position. New race leader, it's BB Hange in the 99. 49 laps to go. Hange comes out of the woodworks and now leads the race here at Stafford Motor Speedway. Walker down to the inside for second. The top 2 in the championship going after one another. And remember, the points difference from 1st down to 4th is 5 points apart from each other. Of course, that's the amount of points that you accumulate. So the top 4, there's a 5-point difference accumulatively. So that means Walker would get 5 points more than Max Anderson will. Remember, it is 30 points for finishing in 1st, 25 for 2nd, 20 for 3rd, 15 for 4th, and then it's 1 point apart from 14 for 5th for 14th, 13 for 6th, 12 for 7th, and so on until you get down to 1 point for the remaining parts of the field. For the remaining positions, I should say. 45 laps to go, and BB Hange is checked out by at least almost a half a second on Wyatt Walker as well as Max Anderson. This race has definitely gotten pretty interesting. We've had 5 cautions here tonight, and hopefully we should be done with cautions for a little while longer, as we might see ourselves a good race for the win. I keep thinking Stephen Walker, because we know Stephen Walker is going to be driving the 20 in the Cup Series next year, but this is Terry Walker. He is currently running in the 4th position, sitting pretty comfortably here. And then you have Alexander Rowe sitting in 5th, doing a very nice job here. And then 4 seconds back, you got Eric Blaze in 6th. The last car in the lead lap is Kenny Stremme. It's amazing of how even after he just got clobbered by Sarah Taylor, who smacked the wall coming out of 4, that this car is still on the lead lap and still running. How about Ryan Kendall in the 00? He went spinning through the infield right here on the back straightaway. And so far, he is running in the 8th position, the first car 1 lap down. And then Ajax Fitzgerald having himself a great run here tonight. He's 9th in car number 88. And then Joshua Neely, who is just up ahead of these guys, still running in 10th, even though he is the first car 2 laps down. It's rather impressive. Impressive stuff that we're seeing here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Only 7 cars on the lead lap. And we are coming up on that lap traffic. They have caught Sarah Taylor. Hange gets by without a problem. And Sarah Taylor moves up the hill. to make room for these two that are battling side by side for the second spot and for more points on the championship. Walker has to give way, and he'll have to try again here in the next couple of laps to run down Max Anderson and try to get by him, because remember, those two come in just 2 points apart from each other. The only way that we see Wyatt Walker grab the points lead, he's already led a lap, so he'll still be in touch. Both drivers, no matter where they finish, will still be in touch with one another when we go into Cajon Speedway next weekend. But as far as I'm concerned, if Walker finishes ahead of Max Anderson, then the points gap between the both of them would at least be 4 points. Maybe 3. I would say 4 because of Wyatt Walker leading a lap here tonight. So that should definitely aid him in this championship fight at Cajon Speedway next weekend. Before Max Anderson, if he finishes ahead, actually no, because there's definitely a good chance that no matter what, Max Anderson will still leave with the points lead, because remember, he led, more than likely is going to pick up the 5 bonus points for leading the most laps here tonight. And then you got BB Hange, who has also been just tearing it up as the celebrity driver amongst all 7, and at least 21 of these other guys that are from the 3 different divisions. Amongst these 7 drivers amongst 3 different divisions, that is, 7 out of truck, 7 in Xfinity, 7 from Cup. But BB Hange has done a pretty fantastic job, having no allegiance to any division. So he's pretty much in it for himself. 3 wide here with Wyatt Walker, who lost a little bit of ground to runner-up Max Anderson, who is now all over the back bumper, or at least trying to stay right within the tire tracks of BB Hange. Ooh, Claire Phillips gets into the outside wall coming out of 4. But she keeps it up against the wall and out of harm's way. We stay green. Bryce Egan back out on track and immediately goes right back into the pits. I probably have to say this is gonna probably be a reoccurring theme here for Bryce Egan for at least for the rest of the race. Yep, and that's probably going to be the case right there for the 34. Just exiting and re-entering the pits all the way to the checkered flag. That's actually going to be rather unfortunate. So unless if a caution comes out now and resets everything, the fight for the win is definitely going to come down between these 3 contenders of Hange, Anderson, and Walker. That being Wyatt Walker here in this number 19. Terry Walker still just pretty close to 2.5 seconds behind. Almost 2 seconds back from his son Wyatt, who sees himself in contention for his 2nd straight victory here tonight. But he's also currently watching Max Anderson, the guy he's fighting for the championship, go for the lead on BB Hange with 25 laps to go, coming to 24 this time. And Hange gives way to Max Anderson. But BB Hange might not be done yet, as he's now once again all over the back bumper of the 38. They're also coming up on Bryce Egan in the number 34, who takes it back to the inside and tries to stay out of the way. Up the racetrack they go, and Anderson almost scrapes the wall coming out of 4. And this will move BB Hange back to the race lead. Wyatt Walker down to the inside. He takes 2nd away, and now is looking for 2 birds with 1 stone. Heading through turns 3 and 4. Wyatt Walker goes back to the point as they cross the stripe. Back straight away. Heading into the third corner. Walker's going to be able to at least full on clear Max Anderson, but Anderson, I think, is going to move him up the racetrack again. Here he goes. Powers through and throttles right on by Wyatt Walker for the race lead. 20 laps to go from here at Stafford. They're up on Sarah Taylor yet again. And it looks like Anderson's going to get by without a problem. Same can be said for Wyatt Walker. This time he's not going to punt that 29 out of the way. They're also up on Kenny Stremme. Remember, Stremme is the last car on the lead lap. And just up ahead is Eric Blaze in the 33. $18 laps to go. A third of a second is the difference between Walker and Anderson. But BB Haynes looking to try to play spoiler here as he gets to the left rear quarter panel of the 19. Is going to draw even as they head down the front straightaway. This is not good news for Wyatt as he'll be blocked by the 16 of Stremme. Oh boy, BB Haynes just used Stremme as a pick and it worked to perfection for BB Haynes as now he has clear traffic between himself and the 38 of Max Anderson. 16 laps to go. Walker is not too far back, and his father, Terry Walker, has officially entered the chat. So now this has turned into a 4-horse fight for the win. As Anderson continues to try to increase his gap, BB Haynes may not be quite done yet. Haynes to the inside, or at least Haynes got by Carson Miller. So once again, clear racetrack for the time being as Wyatt Walker gets to the inside of Carson Miller to get around him without a problem. But Max Anderson going to put a lap here on Eric Blaze. So now this brings it down to 5 cars left on the lead lap. The last car in the lead lap, that would be Alexander Rowe. He has made his way into turn 2. Heading into 3 now. As the leader crosses the stripe for 12 to go. Oh boy, that's going to be pretty interesting here as Diacomo holds up Max Anderson. BB Haynes comes into the fold once again. The gap now down to 0.2 of a second. Closing in on 10 laps of racing to go from here at Stafford Motor Speedway, and 10 laps away from what the championship picture will look like heading into next weekend's race at Cajon Speedway. Got Russell Blaze up ahead in the number 3. Anderson going to try to get by, but Blaze, oh, he moves up the track and gets out of the way. Oh, he pounds the wall coming out of turn 4. And almost comes down into Wyatt Walker in the process. But Walker still chugging along, just a half a second back from runner-up BB Haynes. They are coming up on Moscow, who stays up high. No issues for Anderson. Now you got Ryan Kendall in the 00. Up here as well. They're going to get by him without a problem. 7 laps to go. BB Haynes still hanging with Anderson, who runs it wide coming out of turn number 4. Oh, but Haynes is right there. Haynes is all over the back bumper of Max Anderson. as they come off of turn number 2. Let's see if Haynes is going to make a move. Heading through turns 3 and 4. He lifts a little bit. But now he's going to get to the left for a quarter panel of the 38. Thought he might have the lane there. But has to give way. And he might have a chance with 5 laps to go coming up. To get around Tyler Ferris, no problems whatsoever. 5 laps of racing to go. And here comes BB Haynes in the 99. That number 38 is going to draw wide. And here comes Haynes to the inside. Now he's got a nose underneath of the 38. They're dead even, almost, heading through turns 3 and 4. You got Claire Phillips in the mix. And BB Haynes once again successfully uses lap traffic as a pick. And gets by Max Anderson without a problem. 3 laps to go from here in Anderson. Or at least from Stafford, excuse me. Max Anderson might have one final push to get around that number 99 for the win. But as BB Haynes gets by Joshua Neely, I think it's probably going to be too little too late. Wyatt Walker has caught back up with the championship leader. With 2 laps of racing to go, it's not over. As the top 3 are all on top of each other, they'll be coming back around for the white flag, this time by. And BB Haynes will lead it with 1 lap to go from here in Stafford. Haynes came into this race top 5 in the point standings. And he will also enter his name into the championship conversation. And Cajon Speedway just got more interesting. Off turn 4, BB Haynes is going to win it here in Stafford. Max Anderson comes home in 2nd. Walker 3rd. Terry Walker in the 20 coming home in 4th. Followed by Alexander Rowe in completing the top 5. Only the top 5 finishers finished on the lead lap. Following is Eric Blaze finishing in 6th. Stremme in 7th. Finishing in 8th is car 88 of Ajax Fitzgerald. Ryan Kendall comes home in 9th. And Claire Phillips. Actually, no, Joshua Neely, I do believe. Nope. Yeah, Neely rounds out your top 10. But that was absolutely just complete insanity that we just witnessed here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. I keep saying Anderson Speedway because of the Dirty Drivers documentary that I'm thinking of that came out back in 2008. That was broadcasted by HBO. That was filmed by HBO. But interesting documentary if you want to check it out. But regardless of that, BB Haynes, the celebrity driver, comes home as the winner. And then also enters his name into the championship picture heading into Cajon Speedway next weekend. That championship fight is going to be interesting. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, now that you see your finishing results, 6th down through 10th, they all finished the race. Obviously 1 lap down or more. Or really, I should say 4 laps down or more. And then you see Egan, Hartnett, Stapleton, Bright, and Crampton all retiring from the race. We already have seen what Travis Crampton retired from early in the going, back on lap number 12. But we're about to find out, and we're about to witness all the other incidents that took place throughout the event. So stick with us here, folks. We're about to show you just exactly what happened that caused all 5 cautions, and even all of the other incidents that took place, or at least the first incident that should have been a caution with Nathan Stapleton, but that just was not the case. But we're going to go ahead and get that footage loaded up for you here. But as far as the incidents are concerned, it did start with Nathan Stapleton, who basically was around on the front straightaway. This is on lap 1, coming to lap number 2. Look at that number 97 was almost in the middle of a 4-wide situation. They were 4 wide behind them on the right-hand side of your screen. And we almost had another instance of 4 wide. And on this next shot, it does look like that they're going 4 wide. But you see Stapleton, he slides up into Tyler Ferris. And then from there, Stapleton is just along for the ride as he gets turned almost about 45 degrees in front of Ferris. And there's the damage that he had sustained from Alexander Rowe. Sarah Taylor, unfortunately, gets collected in this one. And that number 29. But how in the world this didn't cause a caution, I will never know. Probably because he wasn't 90 degrees in front of the field. That would have caused the yellow flag if he was 90 degrees in front of the field instead of the 45. But now we're about to find out, we're about to witness exactly what happened that caused our first caution officially. This was just a couple of laps later, right around here. So, probably a similar instance, but a little bit different circumstances. Take a look at here, heading through turn number 4. This time around, it looks like Moscow definitely carried a little bit too much, got into turns 3 and 4 a little too hot, slides up the track almost into the guardrail. And he does right here, bounces off the wall, right into Carson Miller. Russell Blaze very lucky there as he drives away, but Bruno Diacomo was not the fortunate soul in that fiasco. And then you got Sarah Taylor just squeezing through. And great job by Sarah Taylor to stay up against the wall. Nathan Stapleton, for the second week in a row, collides into Val Moscow. We had this happen a week and a half ago at the Anderson Speedway, where Moscow was the unfortunate bystander that brought out the first caution. And Nathan Stapleton ran into him at the very last second before Moscow teleported to pit road. This time around, Val Moscow brought out the first caution. And once again, Nathan Stapleton runs into Val Moscow, but only this time he tries to get the car refired and pointed back the right direction, which he does. But unfortunately, that hit right there that Stapleton delivered was enough to knock him out of the race. Let's now go back. Let's now go ahead and fast forward a little bit to review our second caution that took place. See if we can actually find the footage, because it took a little bit before our second caution wound up flying. And yep, well, there we go. There's the caution. And remember, I do believe it was for a spin that happened on the back straightaway. Probably should keep our eyes on the pace car here to see exactly the cause of the accident scene. And indeed, it was for a little bit of a spin heading through turn number 2. And it involves Emmanuel Hartnett in the number 7 machine. Take a look at what happened to him. This is what brought out our second caution of the race here on lap number 45. Closing in on the 100 to go mark. But you see Hartnett as Neely is just trying to keep his car straight. Hartnett got back on the gas, gets into the left rear quarter panel, sends him down into Terry Walker, and around goes Emmanuel Hartnett, 90 degrees in front of the field, and Terry Walker straightens him back out, actually. So Terry, I'm betting he probably felt bad that he turned that number 7 of Hartnett, so he just decided, you know what, I'm going to straighten you back out. And lo and behold, there we go. That's what caused the third caution of the night. Now let's take a look at what happened that caused our third yellow. That was our second caution, but let's take a look at what happened to bring out our third yellow. So this was shortly after. That was shortly after the green flag flew to restart the race on lap number 50. So this involves Carson Miller and several other contenders. Watch this as they head through turn number 2. There's Alexander Rowe in the 43. He's going to get in the middle, in between the Beacon Academy racing cars. He gets into Hartnett, and then they come down and then collect Ryan Kendall as well as the 71. Kendall goes through the infield grass, loses control down there, but watch this. Eli Bright gets into the left rear quarter panel of the 71. Moscow collected, as well as Russell Blaze, but that miraculously, he keeps his car straight. But Moscow, man, he just took an absolute wild hit. He delivered a wild hit as that car absolutely just scraping the turns 3 and 4 guardrail. Excuse me, that's just an absolute unfortunate circumstances. But there you see Ryan Kendall, after taking a wild ride through the infield grass, getting his car refired and pointed back into the right direction. And Eli Bright, unfortunately, his Hendrick Cars machine made contact with the other Hendrick Cars machine of Carson Miller. And that's what ultimately ended Bright's night here at Stafford. Now, let's go back and review what happened that caused our fourth caution. That happened about not too long after. Not too long after we had our third restart. At least a little bit after. And that involved Nathan Stapleton. So this happened at the very back end of the field. And of course, Russell Blaze is also in the picture for this one. See, Stapleton runs up the hill, and then he's gonna absolutely pound the outside wall and gets turned, or almost, by the 3 of Russell Blaze. Kind of just punted him a little bit, and then just finishes him off by turning him yet another 90 degrees. So Nathan Stapleton's night, of course, did go from bad to worse in this process, as I do believe this is the point where Stapleton did bring his car behind the wall, and that's what ended his night. So this was our fourth caution. Now, let's go back and review. Let's move forward and review what happened that caused our final yellow flag on lap 91. So this was definitely wild, because it all started with the 29 of Sarah Taylor getting moved up the racetrack by the 19 of Wyatt Walker. Let's go ahead. Let's break this down. Heading into turn number 3, remember, Walker's leading the race at this point, and he bumps that 29 going into the third corner, moves her up the racetrack. And in the process, Wyatt kind of moves up the track himself. Must have been carrying a little bit too much speed going through the corner, and I think Sarah Taylor was trying to give him as much room as she possibly could. And she was all the way up, almost up against the wall. She absolutely pounds the wall, comes down into Kenny Stremme, and that's what sends him around in the number 16. BB Hange gets by. Wow, just commits to the outside and misses it. But Eric Blaze piles in, as does Bryce Egan. And then from here, Nathan Stapleton with nowhere to go. That's what ended his night. And then there's Emmanuel Hartnett piling in to the back of the 97. And then Russell Blaze gets rear-ended by Bruno Diacomo. Then Carson Miller piles in. Absolute wild pictures that we just saw. A wild junkyard here on the front straightaway. Just absolute calamity here. And the closing stages of our 5th race of the season here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. But that was all of our cautions that flew here in this event at the Stafford Motor Speedway. And ladies and gentlemen, your point standings will be coming soon. But as you'll see with those points, this is the stage to the championship field. The championship picture has been set. Next weekend, we will be at the Cajon Speedway for the final race of the 2026 WRLA Hoosier Summer Tour season. Will it be Max Anderson? Will it be Wyatt Walker? Will it be BB Hange? Or will it be somebody else who could potentially be a long shot for the championship? We'll find out next weekend at the Cajon Speedway at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for watching tonight's festivities from here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. If you liked what you saw, be sure to hit the like button and be sure to consider subscribing in order to keep up with all the WRLA content throughout the 2026 season. And we're off to a pretty hot start here for the month of August, and it's only going to get hotter with the championship all the way out in the West Coast at the Cajon Speedway. One more time, congratulations to BB Hange on getting the victory here tonight. Have yourselves a great rest of your weekend. Take care, and we will see you all at the Cajon Speedway for the championship race of the WRLA Hoosier Summer Tour. This WRLA telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or reused without any authorized written consent of 11 Broadcasting. WRLA would like to thank all of our loyal fans for their continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.